What's up, BenchWarmers? We're here on the bench recording for you this weekly episode after all of the weekend action. And we have a nice little bonus for the Champions Day action that was on today. My name is Diego. I'm joined by Marco, the interrupter, and Nico. Does Nico have a name?
Nico the Goat.
Nico.
Oh yeah, Nico the Goat. Yeah, Nico the Goat. A nice little nickname for the bench.
The champ.
Oh yes, Nico the FIFA champ, the 1v1 Soccer Roof online PvP quarantine COVID-19 champion,
Mr. Copy himself
of the world. Thank you everyone for tuning in to this week's episode. Just to remind you, the typical housekeeping, so you know where to find us on all of your favorite podcasting platforms, be it Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or Google Podcasts, by searching BenchWarmers FC. And you can also watch, if you're listening, you can watch our episodes that are uploaded every week to our YouTube channel. Marco?
BenchWarmersFC.com. That's the email. I know it. I fucked up. It's BenchWarmers FC TV, because yes. I knew Diego wasn't gonna put the email out there, so I just jumped the gun a little bit, you know.
Okay, yes, he interrupted himself. And Nico, where can you encourage everyone to like, follow, and interact with our posts on social media?
You can like, follow, and interact with our posts on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook at BenchWarmersFC1.
BenchWarmers FC1, that's right. So, guys, it's an interesting way back into the Premier League action. We had a nice international break. It's not the best because we usually have to take 2 weeks to get back into the league. It's a bit boring. There's some stuff that went on, some worrisome stats for players like Haaland, who went blanking for the first time. I think it was in his career, no? First time he went 3 games without a goal, something like that.
Sounds about right.
And he blanked for Norway during the international break. You had Zlatan coming back for Sweden. You had Portugal scoring goals. You had Germany losing to North Macedonia, and it was absolute mayhem and chaos in the German camp. But we're here for the Premier League, the greatest league in the world, because the very first match of the weekend,
debatable.
Chelsea 2, West Brom 5. West Brom 5. All right, so I'm asking you first, Nico. Did you expect a West Brom win, first of all?
No. I think we all thought when we saw the but we saw this upcoming weekend results or fixtures, that when Chelsea were playing West Brom, we all thought Chelsea were going to win, but I didn't wake up to watch the game, but I did wake up to a 5-2 scoreline. I was wow. I was like, what the hell?
And Marco, did you catch any of the game? Because some of the goals that West Brom scored, they were absolute crackers.
I mean, I think didn't one of the guys walk away with a hat trick? Or I think he had like 2 goals and like 2 assists or something like that.
No, yes, there was 2 braces by Callum Robinson and Mateus Pereira, with a Diagne goal sandwiched in between.
Okay, yeah. I mean, nobody expected it, man. We had just, I think, the previous episode when we were doing the FPL, we had just mentioned that moving forward, Mendy was the goalkeeper to use because, quote unquote, they had a better and easier schedule, and we were proven wrong. I mean, it is one game, but it says a lot about, like, the old Chelsea is still there, and just because Tuchel came along doesn't mean that they can't be beaten. And a small team like Brom were able to say, "Hey, look, this is what I can do." Doesn't mean that that's going to happen.
With all the respect,
yeah. Doesn't mean that it will happen again. But now it's more of a, okay, we have to go back and rethink. Or is Chelsea gonna, with the upcoming games, are they a team to trust within that they're gonna be able to stay with top 4, or should we start debating and seeing if somebody that's below the 4th position might take his spot? Mm-hmm. And that's something that we have to look into.
Yes, that is something that we're going to have to look into, especially because I know we had mentioned this on one of the previous episodes. It was a quote. It was a quote by the former genius and Arsenal manager, Arsene Wenger, where he was saying, you know what, guys? I'm just paraphrasing here. You can look up the quote yourselves. He says, "You know what? They're playing a little bit too safe for me. I don't know. They're playing a little bit too safe. The defending, the possession, the number of passes, it just seems too safe, too controlled, too boring. Can this be utilized to actually improve?" And the stat troll for the week, which I was actually pretty uh I guess pretty content with it, was when Chelsea sacked Lampard. They sacked Lampard. They were 9 points behind United, right? So Tuchel came in. They went on a 10-match unbeaten run, only conceding 2 goals. An incredible new manager bounce, and today they're still 9 points behind Manchester United. So it's I don't know. Is it enough for them? The fact that they conceded 5 goals, a lot of people were saying that Thiago Silva red card was a little bit I don't know, controversial. What do you think, Nico? He was giving a double yellow for coming in on a reckless challenge. Is it merited? Was the yellow, if he hadn't had a yellow, do you think he would have been carded anyway?
Um, from the last time I saw it, tackle was outside their own box, right?
Right.
Right. So I think if he wasn't booked earlier, I don't think it would have been a red card. But because he had been booked with the yellow earlier, and because the foul was on the edge of their box, I do think I think it was a red card because of that.
Let's look at the goals, Marco, just to finish and wrap up on Chelsea, who right now are sitting in 5th place, 51 points. They play Crystal Palace next. They have 2 wins in the last 5 matches, 2 draws, and this shock loss to West Brom. Timo Werner goes and squares it to Mason Mount. A registered assist, absolutely fine. Timo Werner still has not come on to, I guess, scoring many goals. I think combined, correct me if I'm wrong, I think combined between Havertz, Pulisic, Werner, I think they have 6 or 7 goal involvements. And you have a player like Jesse Lingard who's tearing it up, and he has 9 right now with West Ham. And I'm counting goals and assists to be fair for all of them. How long is too long? Because at the beginning of the season, we heard from Chelsea fans, "Hey, give Timo Werner, 6 months," and we're close to the end of the season now. There's only 2 months left to the season, April, and then whatever's left of May. Do they have to find more goals? Is this whole defensive system? You're saying that this was probably a speed bump, right? It's just one game. West Brom, things probably just went bad. The red card, they couldn't adapt. But this is Chelsea. This is 200 million pumped into the squad, Chelsea, and then they capitulate. I get maybe not winning the game, but losing 5-2. You're supposed to have a defensive system. So I'm rambling on a little bit. I want to know what you think. Is the ultra defensive, ultra possession going to work out for them, or are these players going to have to start putting in goals? Because I don't know where they're going to get the results from, where they're going to get the points from.
They have to start putting in the results. Timo Werner, I mean, as an outside person from Chelsea, as a Liverpool, a London rival, I want him to stay and don't touch him, don't bother him, and let him do what he's doing now because it's benefiting all of us that are watching the game. I can tell you, but I could just base it on experience. Us and Eric might completely disagree with me on what I'm about to say, or he might not. I'm not sure. But we have it's slightly different positions, but we have our case Pepe. Pepe came in to be a force to be reckoned with in the last third, and assist and score and do all these things that he was doing in France. And for the first season, he didn't do that. And I remember clearly you trolling us because of Pepe.
Right.
All that season, we wouldn't stop hearing you mention Pepe and how Pepe hasn't been doing this or has not done doing that. And I remember, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eric always saying that just give him time, he'll adapt. Now, we are in the second season of him being there. Of course, there's a pandemic. It's been a little hard for every team out there. But we've noticed that Pepe has actually been left out more than he's been played. Now, when he does play, he has had moment of brilliance, but not as consistent as we would have liked. So, in in Timo's position, I'd say if by next season there's no results, sack him. Not sack him, get rid of him. I mean, he is an expensive player. Who's going to buy somebody that doesn't give results? You might have to take a hit, but you are Chelsea. You do have the money, so do you guys really care? You have an $80 million plus euro goalkeeper on the bench that you guys are not utilizing. So in their case, I don't think they give a crap about the money. So use him for next season, and if he doesn't give you results, get rid of him, send him on loan. I don't know, do something with him. But for now, keep him on the pitch because it gives us something to talk about, and then put little highlights of his missed kicks on Instagram.
I mean, to be fair, like with the Werner stuff, it hasn't really negatively like affected Chelsea. In terms of a title run, maybe, but I mean, they're gonna play Real Madrid in the semifinals. I mean, that's what every team dreams of, playing in Champions League. They're probably gonna make fourth place. So I mean, they're in a good position regardless. I think of what their players are doing with Ziyech, Werner, Havertz, Chilwell, Mendy. So I don't think Chelsea fans would be really that fussed about it. But I do think when it comes to next season, and they do want to go on the title challenge and really go for the likes of City and whatever, then those players that they spent on, they're gonna have to start kicking up for the rest of the season.
That's right. I think that's a good take. Right now, Werner is sitting on 5 goals. The only players that I guess top him in the Chelsea squad, looking it up right now, Jorginho, Mount, and Abraham, all with 6 goals. It looks like we need some more involvement from Pulisic with 2, Ziyech with 1 goal, Havertz with 1 goal still. This is just the league. This is just the Premier League. So yes, I think by next season, you're absolutely right. They're gonna have to find out what's up with the goal scoring, because losing 5-2 to West Brom, I think if they had players that they could rely on to put in those goals, probably it wouldn't be an issue, so to speak, to go down a man. But I think just a capitulation from that red card, not being able to hold on after having such a long stretch of games that they've been dominating other teams. Honestly, they've been great defensively. I don't know. I don't know if this means that there's more problems. But moving on, Leeds taking on Sheffield United 2-1 on the score sheets. That's a great win for Leeds, keeping up, I guess, their momentum. They are mid-table, if I'm not mistaken, right now. They're sitting around 11th place, 42 points. They have 13 wins, 14 losses. They're kind of right in the middle, just touching the waters, getting used to being in the Prem again against bottom place team Sheffield United. It's still 3 points that are going to serve them well. Leicester losing 2-0 to Man City, and I think those were goals by Mendy and who else?
Jesus.
Yes, Gabriel Jesus with the tap in after getting the rolled assist from Sterling inside the box. I know we've been saying this over and over, but I think it merits just confirming that title's wrapped up, guys. What do you think? Prem title wrapped up for City?
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
even if they go on to lose a game or two, because it's gonna happen. I think right now, with 14 points that they are ahead of Man United,
right?
They have the comfort to be able to say, okay, you know what? Let's put our eggs a little bit more towards Champions League. Because mostly because of today's win, they're 2-1 against Dortmund. We know for a fact that I think they that's the one thing Pepe hasn't been able to win outside of Barcelona. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did lose a game or two in the next upcoming weeks.
And they do have a bye week in game week 33, which is 2 weekends from now. They play the only big 6 sides that they play, if we like to consider Everton part of this, as far as like difficult matches for the run-in at the end of the season. The only difficult teams that they have are Chelsea and Everton. That's it. Otherwise, they play teams like Newcastle, Brighton, Crystal Palace, Villa, Leeds. I think it just might be wrapped up. I don't see any other team giving this this Man City side any issues. So you're right. Putting the eggs all in one basket.
Even if City do drop points, other teams are going to drop points too. So
yeah,
it kind of balances it out.
14 points ahead. A very comfortable win against Leicester. And we're moving on to what was the matchup of the weekend. And I want to talk about it right now in the middle of the episode so that we can get ample time for each of you to put in your 2 cents. Arsenal 0, Liverpool 3 at the Emirates. It looked like it was under control, Marco. It looked like it was under control for the first half. It went in 0-0. And then what do you think happened for the second half? I have a 4-letter name for one player that came on, but I want to hear from you.
Please, I need to hear this 4-letter name for that one
It's
player.
all about Jota, baby. All about Jota. Diogo coming in hot, red hot with 2 goals.
I mean, what else can it be? It's true. Jota came in, and as we've seen it in the past, Jota is that influential player that Liverpool was really missing throughout the season. And when he was out, who did something? Nobody. Now that Jota's back, and the worst case scenario is that they decided to come back and they come back against Arsenal, which is that was a little bit that was painful.
Painful, yeah.
No, I mean, we did come in, and I mean, I'm not gonna say, oh, injuries. Like, no. Yes, we have Saka out. Yes, Smith Rowe is out, but they're not long-term injuries. It's something that a knock. Tierney got injured as well. It's small knocks that most likely gonna end up playing this upcoming weekend or in a week or so. It's not about that. I just think that at the moment, maybe Liverpool came in with a better plan, even though we did put up a fight, like you said, in the first half. The fact that Jota came in, the fact that we did lose Tierney, and Xhaka, believe it or not, was actually missed in my eyes. Ceballos wasn't the player to have there, and Xhaka wasn't available at the moment. And bringing in Elneny afterwards wasn't something that was going to resolve the issue. I think those were the factors, and I don't want to give them too much shit, but we've seen it in the past. The pairing of Pepe, Lacazette, and Aubameyang up top hasn't given us results. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, all right, let's see what happens. And one last thing, Liverpool had 2-man mark on Odegaard for the majority of the game.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw Odegaard play, he was only able to pass back basically because he was well marked and they didn't let him do anything. So Liverpool came to play and they figured it out. They figured out what they needed to do, and there's a result, 3-0.
Some stats and numbers just to set you up here, Nico, for the analysis from the Liverpool fans. 64% possession, 16 shots, 7 on target for Liverpool compared to 3 and 2 for Arsenal. The passes and the touches were almost double for Liverpool's team. Really, it was 0-0. It looked like it was probably going to go on to a stalemate. From what I've read, and I think this was a rare away win because Liverpool don't usually win at the Emirates. If I'm not wrong, it's usually a tough match for Liverpool to walk away with a win. How do you feel about that 3-0? Did it all come together when Jota came on? We were like, all right, my savior's on the pitch. It's all good. Daddy Salah's gonna be on the score sheet, or were you sweating it out until the goals hit the net?
I mean, before the game, I wasn't really that confident because usually Liverpool don't play that well after an international break. They all just kind of seem like toothless. They don't really look good. And my point was almost proven in the first half because I thought it was going to be another where we keep the ball the whole game and then Arsenal go on the counter and score some like header 1-0. That's the game.
Mm-hmm.
The same thing all season. I mean, but the second half, I didn't think Klopp was going to sub on Jota, but I'm glad he did. And I was actually surprised that he subbed on Jota instead of a midfielder, and he actually played a 4-2-3-1 with Firmino behind Jota, with kind of like Mane and Jota interchanging, which I don't think Firmino does that with Mane as much. I think Firmino just kind of gets in between the lines. He kind of just stays in the middle, and Mane just stays on the left. So I think Jota coming on really like brought this other part of the game to him, and I mean I guess we all kind of saw that, and he just brought life into the game.
Bringing life into the game, I'm going to throw it back to you, Marco, because I know probably Nico has more positive things to say. Aubameyang getting subbed off in the 77th minute. Looking at his scoring record of late, since hitting that hat trick against Leeds, he has only one goal in his next 6 matches afterwards. Is this worrisome for you? Do you think that you have enough with Lacazette, maybe Pepe, maybe even, I know you said Saka was missed. Is this a worry for you that given Aubameyang and the narrative, honestly, because he just got the big contract and the big bucks, the money, you this does it feel like this is something you've seen before? And I'm going to be very clear. I'm not trying to be clever. I'm referring to the situation with Ozil having a player on high wages and then underperforming. Is this something that you're kind of afraid that is happening with Aubameyang, or what's your take on Alba shooting blanks?
I mean, and Eric's giving me shit in the past for saying what I'm about to say, but I'm like, just get rid
Uh-oh.
of him. And he's like, well, you crazy, you can't do that. I'm like, I know, I understand. It's just me trying to vent a little bit. It does suck because it's not like it's not something new for us, but it's not something common either. Ozil was the first case scenario. He got the big bucks. Something happened. We still don't know the full story, and
Right.
I'm guessing at some point we will the next couple of years of
Mhm.
what really went down. But yeah, he got the big bucks, and he never showed up again. And Obama carried us for 2 seasons. He gets the big bonus. He gets the captaincy. He gets everything, and he disappears. So I don't know if it's just our bad luck that because of the way that Arsenal does things, they shouldn't be doing that. Because even beforehand, Sanchez was our most expensive player, if I'm mistaken, or the one that was making the most money because you guys acquired him. So you should be able to tell me if I'm correct or wrong. I think he was the number 2 most best paid player in Premier League at the time.
Something like that.
Something
Okay,
like that,
so
yeah.
we were doing that, but what happened? He decided to leave. He no longer wanted to play for Arsenal, and he stopped showing up. Of course, he didn't show up anywhere else. The same thing as Ozil, but it is worrisome. But at least with Obama, he's seeing that even if he's not on the pitch, we can still find a result. And I think that's on Obama. Obama has to figure out, okay, what am I doing here? Am I here for the right reasons? Am I here just for the money? And if that's the case, then look, Ozil stayed on our payroll for 6 months for free, didn't do anything, and then ended up leaving. And I think we still paid him off.
Right.
If Obama wants to do that, then I guess that's his choice. If he doesn't want to play for the shirt, doesn't want to play for his team, but his team is not going to wait around for him to decide. His team knows that if he's not going to be there, well, we have youngsters that do want to be there and do want to play in the name of Saka, in the name of Smith Rowe and Odegaard. Even though he's not our player, he's still there. He's still trying his best. So I don't worry, at least for this season, because I know that the youngsters will take us to at least top 10, and hopefully to the final of Europa.
Lacazette, I'm going to switch it over. Lacazette, 3 goals in his last 5 matches compared to Aubameyang's 1 goal in his last 6. Right now, looking at your Premier League table, it's been mid-table woes so far for Arsenal. You know, they were up in 9th temporarily, and then Aston Villa getting their win over the weekend, which we'll touch base on a little bit, sitting on 42 points, level with Leeds United. Where do you see Arsenal finishing, Marco? You know, there's only 7 matches left to the season. This is the final run-in. How far up do you think they'll go?
Honestly, bro, I'm not gonna lie. I don't think we'll go past 6th place.
6?
If we can make it to 7th, that would be dope. Or 6th. I don't see us making it that high. Even though we're not far away. I mean, from between 10th place and 6th place, which is Spurs, there's
7
only
points.
a 7-point difference. But I mean, everybody else still has to play. So
right.
I can say, no, we're going to end up in the top 4, but that means that every single team above us has to lose at least 4 or 5 games.
I would like to ask this question with Eric present as well, but is top 4 done for Arsenal?
Yeah, I would. Yes, but Champions League is not done for us.
Okay, all right. Still have some there.
We still have, and I still have a lot of faith in that. Will we make it the top 6 or to Europa? Maybe. But that's gonna be, we can't lose another game, and we have to hope that everybody that's above us loses at least 1 or 2 games in the next couple
Yeah,
weeks.
you gotta hope, and hoping is a strong word right now. Just like if I remember correctly, I think just like Man City, you guys only play Everton and Chelsea, and with a mix of Sheffield, Fulham, Newcastle, West Brom. You know these teams can be tricky. Brighton at the last game of the season, but it looks like at least on paper it might be a bit of an easier run in to try to get some points. And I'm going to ask you the same question, Nico. Now that we have you here, Liverpool, seventh place on 49 points. They're level with Tottenham in sixth place. Is top four out of reach with teams like West Ham and Chelsea and Spurs above you guys? Or are you going to pull a Man City and then focus on a Champions League? You know, that 3-1 result probably doesn't help. But let's say prior to that, did you think that Liverpool would prioritize getting higher up on the table or this Champions League run?
I mean, prior to the Madrid game today, I would think they would put most of their focus onto the Champions League just because their their performances in the Premier League aren't good enough. And either way, I mean, that doesn't really change. I think they're still going to focus on the Madrid tie next week over the Villa game. But you asked me about top four. I think top four is mostly unlikely. I don't think like Chelsea, West Ham are going to drop points. Specifically West Ham because they always beat these teams like under 10th place. You know what I mean?
Right.
So and then Liverpool always loses against teams under 10th place. So I don't think top four is done, but I do think it's kind of unlikely to
So
for
the
them
run
to
in right
achieve
now
that.
for you guys, you play United the 1st of May. After that, again, bottom half sides, Leeds, Newcastle, Southampton, West Brom, Burnley, Crystal Palace on at the end of the season. It looks like it's set up for Liverpool to kind of make up ground and hoping that some of the other top six sides don't have a chance to keep gaining ground. Just looking at Chelsea a little bit here. Chelsea still have to play Leicester. They still have to play Arsenal. They still have to play City and West Ham as well. It looks like Chelsea has a few bumps and obstacles ahead. But you're saying that you're feeling pretty good that Liverpool can actually make a climb up the table. How do you feel about after that 3-1 result in the Champions League though against Real Madrid?
Well, like in the table,
Right.
or I mean, if they'll probably get knocked out next week. So I mean, it's just all focused on the Premier League. So in my opinion, I think when teams focus on something, they tend to do worse because it's just less games
Hmm.
and less you know what I mean, you're less sharp. I mean that's what happened with Liverpool last year. They between like January and mid February, they've had about one game a week, except the Atletico game and except the FA Cup games, and the performances kind of dragged off. So I mean, there's really no choice after the Madrid game next week. They're gonna have to focus on that everything. I mean, you mentioned all those teams that are they may beat, but I think they'll probably lose one or two out of those. So yeah,
Really, you're not holding out for a cheeky little two nil win at home so you can make it on the away goals rule, or what's up?
nah, they won't keep a clean sheet. That's
You
not
don't think
happening.
so?
Nah,
Marco,
nah, no way.
you have the Real Madrid jersey on for
100%.
the recording.
It's over.
I mean, look, against Liverpool, you can't expect anything. We're gonna be playing at their home. We saw what they did to Barcelona after losing 3-0 at the Camp Nou, came along and fucking won 4-0. So anything can happen when you're playing against Liverpool, and
That's
that's
Barca though.
and
Yeah,
that's
it's Barcelona.
and that's the mentality that Real Madrid has to walk into when you go to Anfield. Anything can happen. Yes, we walked away with the 3-1 today. And yes, we have a Clásico this weekend, but the focus has to be on the day of against in Anfield on Wednesday next week. It has to be one, not allow any goals to go through, which I'm hoping Ramos is back for that. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
It's said there he should be back mid-April. Technically, next week is mid-April. So I'm hoping he's back for the Liverpool game. But if not, then bro, put a wall of five in the back. Just throw Benzema
You'll get a 1-0 win. That's it.
and Vinicius up there, just to fucking Vinicius just to run back and forth, and then pray and hope that they don't do what they did to Barcelona. That's it.
Vinicius getting that brace today. But back to the Premier League action because we have a few more games to go through. Southampton and Burnley. Southampton getting a rare 3-2 win over Burnley. Definitely great for them. I do want to pick it a little bit on Spurs and Newcastle tying 2-2. And what we had posted about Mourinho saying, when they asked him, why aren't you able to hold on to any leads as you were capable of doing before? And his only response was same coach, different players, dissing the defensive capability of Spurs. Nico, if your coach was talking about that like that about your team, would you stand for that, or are you saying Mourinho's Mourinho? You have to let him speak.
Nah, bro. If I was a player and he told me that and some bro, I'm like, hell no, nah. No, because if we're like 4-0 up, he's gonna put a freaking, or if you're 2-1 up, he's still gonna park the bus. So I was like, nah, that's your tactic. That's what you want to do. That's not me. Maybe a part of of the defensive side is me, but you're the one over here wanting to park the bus when we're 2-1 up and like 5 minutes left or whatever. So I mean, nah, I wouldn't take that. And I mean, they shouldn't, because I said again, Mourinho he just sits back when he's winning 2-1 or 1-0, and it's bound to happen. A goal's gonna leak.
He used I think another player. I think what's his name, Joe Rodon in the back in the back ends for the center back pairing. I would say maybe this is why he had a bit of a drop off for the defensive duties, pairing him with Sanchez. But it's a weird absence, especially because for some reason Toby Alderweireld has been probably one of the better center backs during the season for Mourinho. But it says that, I'm just looking it up right now just so I'm not wrong. I think he didn't even know why he wasn't picked for this game. I don't think he's injured or anything like that. He had
Wait, Mourinho doesn't know why he
just
didn't pick a player? Or
no. Like he's Alderweireld doesn't know why Mourinho didn't select him for this match,
oh,
and he decided to go with Rodon to pair up with Sanchez. I'm trying to read right now to look up a little bit, but I mean, if I'm not mistaken, I think being 2-1 up, or 2-0 up, sorry, against Newcastle, 2-1, 30, 34. Yeah, so Joelinton scored the first goal. Then you're up 2-1. Harry Kane, 30th and 34th minute. Joe Willock, former Arsenal man, scoring the equalizer in the 85th, which I'm sure Marco and Eric are probably smiling about for their former man.
I know he celebrated the shit out of it.
He did, and I think he was asked about it, right? Wasn't he asked about it?
He
Something
was,
like
yeah.
that, like as an Arsenal player. So I'm gonna I'm gonna pivot real hard. Harry Kane. If you're Harry Kane, do you stay on this team?
Nico, you're gonna say something and then I'll answer.
Yeah, I was gonna say, and Tottenham were 2-1 up like legit 6 minutes after Newcastle scored. So it's not like they went 2-1 up in the 80th minute and then they parked the bus for 10 minutes. No, they were 2-1 up for around legit the whole game. So
Yes.
And for them to just like sit back and just soak up all the pressure, like I said, the goal was bound to happen. But go.
Bound to happen. Harry Kane, if you feel like your team is sitting back and you have that mentality like, dang, it's bound to happen, they're gonna equalize. Do you stay on the Spurs side, Marco?
All right. So it's a stretch. Again, my answers are usually not something that's common, that's most likely gonna happen. But in my world, the only way I would stay if Mourinho leaves. That's the only way. If I were Kane, I would stay. If Mourinho leaves and you bring in a coach that looks like he's gonna take us to the next level, then I'll stick around for another year, see what he has. Because I'm at my prime. I'm close to my prime. How old is Kane right now? 26, 28?
27, 28.
He's around that
He's
age,
young.
right? So I'm or starting my prime or mid my prime. So I have another 5 years, let's say, of good football.
Yeah, he's 27.
Okay. So I still have the possibility of give the team another year, only if Mourinho is no longer the coach. If Mourinho is the coach, I pack my bags and I walk away because I know for a fact that Spurs is not going to do anything. The problem and the big question is, where do I go?
Yes.
I only see 2 spots. And everybody will hit you for one, and they'll be okay with you if you go to the other. One spot is Man United, and the other one is Bayern Munich.
I've seen some reports about Human Son getting tied to a Bayern Munich contract as well. Wouldn't it be quite a coup if they got both Kane and Son? I think that makes it highly impossible. But
it is.
Yeah.
But the only reason why I can see Son being there is Koeman is very injury prone, and then they need a replacement.
Well, at the beginning of the season, Mourinho was apparently making Harry Kane the midfield maestro. He was playing that freaking trequartista role, setting up Son, putting in assists. He has 19 goals for the season, Son with 13. And then all of a sudden, it's all love lost just in the 30th game week of the season.
The Mourinho effect.
People are already speculating where he's going to go.
The Mourinho effect, bro. They start off like this. Every player starts off like this with Mourinho. And little by little, he starts separating and he starts talking shit. And then what happens? It's the player. The player is the person that wrong. The player is the one that ends up being hated. And I say it because of experience. I've seen it, and that's how he dealt with things at Real Madrid. That's why I'm saying it.
I mean, but I feel like I see a lot of people saying Kane is that kind of player who would stay at one club. And I think if he wants to go somewhere else, he has to stay in the Premier if he wants to break that goal record. But on the loyalty thing about staying in one club, I don't know. I've seen him wearing the Arsenal shirt when he was younger, so I don't know. Maybe he questions his loyalty at Tottenham.
Honestly, I think there's very few players that you see and you're like, okay, this is gonna be a loyal player to their team, and we've seen it very little. So there's not that many loyalists out there when it comes to their teams, or their childhood teams. So Kane could technically be the next one. I really don't see it. I think that he wants those chips and he deserves them because he's a phenomenal striker. But he's not going to get them in Spurs.
He does. He does deserve them. 2-2 against Newcastle, like I mentioned earlier, tied on points with Liverpool, sitting in 6th place on 49, 14 wins, 7 draws, 9 losses. It looks like it could be an uphill battle for Spurs right now. Just looking at their fixture list, they play United next Sunday, and then they have a few easy matches on paper again in between, and then they end the season against Leicester City, which could be a tricky one for their end of the season at least. Moving on to some of the other matches, just so we could wrap up this episode for you guys. Aston Villa winning 3-1 over Fulham. A nice little cameo by, I believe it's Trezeguet that came on and getting the points for Fulham. United 2-1 over Brighton with goals from Rashford, a very tidy finish, and Mason Greenwood just 7 minutes from time. Danny Welbeck opening the scoring against his former club, Welbeckinho, and in the 13th minute. The only thing that I'll say about this, because I don't really have much to say, honestly, I want my team, I want United to just focus on doing well for the rest of the season. There are some targets that they have to hit, and getting knocked out of the EFL and the FA Cup were definitely things that hurt, because the biggest narrative that right now, the cloud that's hanging over Solskjaer is, yes, they're doing great. Yes, there's progression. Yes, he's improving players. But what is it all for if they have no titles yet? So it's coming on to the second year that he's going to be in charge of United. And I just want games like this. It was difficult. Brighton were being stubborn. I think it was a great defensive performance by Maguire. And then Mason Greenwood with that nice little dipping header from close range just to get 2-1 win. And they move forward. Like I had mentioned, they have some I think they have a few difficult matches left for the season. They play Spurs next weekend, then they still have Liverpool on May 1st, just like I had brought up, and then on May 11th against Leicester, ending the season away to Wolves. So they have those three matches sandwiched in between some easy fixtures on paper, sitting in second place with 60 points. Do I think top 4 is secure for them? I would like to hope so. I honestly believe that getting 3 points off of one of those harder matches, whether it's Liverpool, Spurs, or Leicester, I think it's necessary, and then not dropping points against the bottom sides. I think they've improved very well against the bottom sides, which is helpful. But they keep going. Nothing's done yet. They're definitely not going to win the title, like I had mentioned, and Eric correctly called me out on it for trying to be cheeky with the title parade and ordering the bus back in January. So that's not going to happen. I got to get a refund. And West Ham moving on 3-2 over Wolves. Lingard, Jesse, Lingardinho, Messi Lingard with a goal and an assist against this Wolves side, and which was I think it was a pretty good game. They were 3-1 up at halftime. Wolves made it 3-2 with a fantastic goal from Fabio Silva, a really nice finish from him, which is nice to see the youngster. I think he's still only 18, probably 19, getting on the score sheet. And then Crystal Palace tying it late against Everton. Marco's favorite Colombian playmaker in the Premier League, James Rodriguez, getting a nice goal. I want to see how many goals James has actually for the season, just so I could look that up. So where do you guys think he has 5?
I don't know. I'm gonna guess that.
He has 6. That was close. He has 6.
Oh.
And I
told you.
I think the stat was that he is the first Colombian player to be involved in more than 10 goal contributions since 2011, 2012. Hugo Rodallega. Rodriguez with 4 assists and 6 goals. That makes 10. So it's pretty good, for a free transfer. It's not bad. I'm frustrated as hell because for my fantasy team, Calvert-Lewin did not do a jack shit, and Richarlison didn't do anything either. So we'll talk about that in our fantasy episodes, guys. I think that's it for this one. Nico, thank you for joining us and showing us that Liverpool still have loyal fans even though they're flopping in the league, in the Champions League. Jota and Salah are probably going to come back with a vengeance and start scoring goals. Marco, as always, trusted and present, ever present in all our episodes, all the other guys on the bench. And thank you everyone for getting to this point in the episode, listening till the end. Make sure that you support us, like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube when you get the chance. It's greatly appreciated, all the support that you guys give us. My name is Diego, joined tonight by Marco and Nico on this episode. And just a simple reminder that we're the BenchWarmers. This is the Bench with a Voice, where the bench is always warm. Peace, everyone.